Why, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Truly Odd podcast, where we bring you the latest in game news and movie news. I'm your host, Joe Garcia. So grab your controllers, get your popcorn, and let's dive right on in. Starting with our game news topics of the day. First topic: Assassin's Creed Shadows launch cinematic trailer. This trailer was basically a typical, cinematic trailer, not really showing gameplay for the game, but I think they're really ramping up their marketing for this game to come out. Me personally, I'm not very interested in this game, sadly. But like I said before, my lady is interested, so we may have to buy it for her, and I'll probably check it out as as the days go by when I watch her play, or I might start a profile. We'll see what ends up happening there. But yeah, the original games are much better. The latest Assassin's Creed aren't really doing too well. Kind of repeating myself from previous things, but yeah, that's just how I feel. But yeah, check out this trailer, guys. I'll have it in the description down below. Let me know what you guys think. Moving on to our next topic: Dune Awakening official exploring Arrakis trailer. And this Dune Awakening game has been very interesting since I've heard of it initially. I wasn't very interested. Then I did see a couple YouTube videos that got me a little interested. But seeing this trailer for Exploring Arrakis, there's just certain things about the game that am very interested in, and other things I am not. I think the crafting and exploration really doesn't capture my attention all that well. But the thought of exploring Arrakis, seeing a sandworm and just being in this world really interests me. So I don't know. It's just I don't know. This game hasn't really captured my attention the way I really hoped it would. And I'm curious if it's captured your guys' attention. Are you excited for the Dune Awakening? Are you interested in this exploration gameplay that they have for this game? Me, I'm probably going to have to wait to see some reviews when it's dropped before I pick it up. But that's just me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Now, I know we got through those first two topics pretty quickly, and I think that's because these next three topics are going to be pretty hefty. I mean, we'll see how we get through it. But the first topic is Invincible video game gets positive development update. So if you didn't know, back in April 2024, there was a GoFundMe for an Invincible game. It raised about $687,000, which is really good for a GoFundMe. I think their initial ask was about 50,000. So to get to 687,000 is really, really good. I think the max that they went for was about 5 million or something like that. But yeah, it didn't get all the way there. I think it's with the creator Robert Kirkman. So I'm very interested in what this game is going to be and how it's going to look, because as of right now, it's a complete mystery what type of game this is going to be. Whether it's going to be turn-based, whether it's going to be open world, whether it's going to be an RPG. No one knows anything about this game as of yet, at least not that I heard of so far. And ever since the GoFundMe ended back in April, I think late April 2024 when it ended, but ever since it's ended, we really haven't gotten an update for the game, and this was our first little update, and it was just basically a pulse check. Hey guys, we're still here, we're still in development. I'm thinking maybe towards later 2025 we'll probably get our first gameplay footage of this. And my interest in this is, I know it was April 2024, so we're coming up on a year since they had the funds. I'm very curious as to why they haven't showed gameplay, and my interest is only because I'm wondering, because of the popularity of the show and because of how good the GoFundMe did. At least I think it did good. I'm thinking that maybe other producers and other interested parties got a hold of the company and was interested in developing the game with them. So there's probably became an even bigger project than what they initially wanted to do with the GoFundMe one. So I'm very curious as to see what this is going to be. And another aspect of this as well is the voice actors are quite expensive. You have very, very famous people doing the voices. J.K. Simmons as Invincible's dad. And many other voices that I can't think of off the top of my head at the moment. So that's not going to be cheap. And let's face it, we still do have the strikes going on, which we talked about the other day. And because of those actor strikes, none of those actors will probably be participating in this game anytime soon. But as I said the other day, the game could still be developed, and those voice acting roles can be portrayed at any time during the development of the game. So yeah, it's just an interesting thing going on with this game. I'm very curious as to how it's all going to turn out, and I'm very excited for this game because there's so many ways they can go with it for the gameplay. But it'd be very interesting taking over, maybe creating your own hero and then fighting some Viltrumites, and maybe creating your own Viltrumite. It's just so much you could do, and it's very exciting to for this world to be expanded upon. After watching the show on Amazon, I really hope they eventually either make a TV show or make a movie out of it. I'd love to see these adapted in other ways than just the animated one that they have on Amazon. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for an Invincible video game? Are you not really interested in it? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. On to our fourth topic of the day. Spectre Divide is shutting down. Now, I have not heard of this game until I saw this news, but it is a free-to-play game that was launched, I think 6 months ago, back in September of 2024. And yeah, it looks like this. Not only is the game going to be shutting down at the end of March, but the studio is going to be shutting down as of March 15th, which will be this Friday. It looks like the reason for them shutting down is their season one for this game just did not do well. And I guess they initially did some layoffs at the company to try to, stay afloat, but I guess it wasn't enough. Not enough funds were coming around, and it didn't capture the attention that they wanted, which is really sad because only 16 days ago, from yesterday, they did their console launch, and I guess that didn't do as well as they hoped to keep them afloat as well. And yeah, just another live service game failure. Not as bad as Concord was, but just another failure for a live service game and a company going under because of these games. And you know, that's the gamble with these live service games is if you can either be successful like Marvel Rivals so far and keep things going, or you can just crash and burn if no one's playing your game. And I think that's the bad thing about these live service games. I think the best thing to do is to make a nice single player campaign, get your money, get your funds, build up your studio, build a fan base, and then do something like a live service game to get people really involved. But it's really hard to say, because a lot of companies do a lot of different things. They have a lot of different skill sets from developers and such. So I'm sure they did the best that they could, and I'm sure the fans that do enjoy the game really enjoy it. But it's just sad to see, and it's more reason to see why layoffs and why companies are closing down now in the game industry. It's the game industry keeps biting off more than they can chew, and they need to stop doing that. They need to develop a fan base and go along with that. I think a lot of people assume that they can create this massive game and it be successful, and it just goes to show it's not as easy as it looks. But that's sad to see. We're gonna have to see what happens if any one of the fans from the game picks up their own server and tries to keep the game going. We'll have to wait and see. Sometimes that happens with certain games, especially when they get shut down. But yeah, have you guys played Spectrum Divide? Was this a game you were interested in? Are you sad that it's closing down? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. On to our last game news topic of the day. Resident Evil 5 and Witcher 3 motion capture director addresses layoffs in AI in gaming. I believe his name is Steven. I'm going to pronounce his last name wrong. Nibali? Hope I pronounced his name right. But he states he doesn't believe AI will replace actors anytime soon. And I'm in agreement with him. There's a lot of things that are required for actors, for motion capture. You got to get the performance, you got to get the motion of the actor, and it really helps within the game industry to capture these things. It can't just be simply animated, like most people assume that it can be. Now it can be also, but it just wouldn't be as fluid, and a connection with an actor and his director or her director is very important for making motion capture games and making motion capture cinematics and things of that sort. And with these strikes going on, AI is a big factor. And it's not just a big factor for the actors right now. It's going to be a big factor for anybody in the game industry, anybody in the movie industry, because if AI gets to a point where they can do, development jobs, there goes your developers. When AI can program its own game, there goes your devs, there goes your producers. Why would anyone be needed if the AI can do it itself? All you need is someone managing the AI and making sure that that's functioning correctly. So it's setting a precedent if AI continues to be utilized in this way in the game industry, as far as replacing voice actors, using their voices in ways that they didn't want. And this strike is the first initial step in preventing things of that sort from happening. But at the end of the day, I give it maybe another 10 years. We're looking at what, 2035, when AI is really going to be a problem for people in their jobs. They're going to be losing their jobs to AI. So, it's just going to be an interesting time 10 years from now. And hopefully by that time, we find a way to prevent AI from taking over certain people's positions and jobs and taking over the workforce. It's really hard to say where it's going to go, because it's taking what we implement into the internet and what we implement into it for it to learn. And yeah, while it's nowhere near being able to develop a game as of right now, I'm sure within the next 10 years it will be able to develop its own game. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Are you interested in where AI is heading? Do you agree with Steven and his comments about AIs and layoffs in the game industry? Oh yeah, if you want, there's an article down below talking more about the layoffs. Basically, what he's talking about is how the game industry right now is handling a lot of layoffs. While it's been part of it, lately there's been a lot of studio shutdowns and layoff, and it's due to lack of interest in what the developers are developing. But yeah, that does it for our game news topics, guys. Moving on to our movie news topics. So, Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues teaser. So, if you haven't heard, they're making a Spinal Tap 2. This was my first time hearing about it, because they just started doing this movie news stuff about a month ago. So, this is very interesting. If you don't know, Spinal Tap was almost like a mockumentary film back in I want to say the 80s. If you ever heard, well, this one goes to 11, that's where it comes from. It comes from This Is Spinal Tap. And I loved that the start of this teaser, which is in the description below, starts with them on a guitar and they're cranking everything to 11. It's really hilarious. What a wonderful callback. And I'm so excited for This Is Spinal Tap 2. I have not seen... Oh, sorry. Spinal Tap 2. I don't know if it's going to be called This Is Spinal Tap 2. But I have not seen the original This Is Spinal Tap in... Oh my God, probably since I was 12, 13 years old. So I only got nostalgia for it. And I'm going to be excited to rewatch This Is Spinal Tap leading into Spinal Tap 2. And I'm hoping it's just as good. A lot of the older remakes of comedies haven't been as funny as the originals were, but I'm assuming this one will be. It's just my hopes. But let me know what you guys think. Have you seen This Is Spinal Tap? Are you excited for the sequel? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Topic number 2, Sneakers trailer. So this is an animated film I had not heard of. It stars Anthony Mackie and Martin Lawrence, where shoes come to life in an animated film, and the shoe is trying to find his lost sister who was stolen by a shoe collector. And I wasn't going to talk about this movie, but after watching the trailer, it kind of just captured my attention. I think a lot of sneakerheads might enjoy this movie. My godson is really a fan of shoes, so I just thought it'd be cool to take my godson. He's about 10 years old, so I think he'd be interested in seeing something like this. A movie about the sneakers that he loves so much, and things of that sort. I just really found it quite interesting, and I want to know what you guys think about it. Does the sneaker trailer interest you? One thing that was kind of weird about the trailer is I felt like Martin Lawrence was, I don't know, he just felt like it was weird, his voice acting from the clips that I seen in the trailer. But I could just be overthinking it. Maybe that's just the character. But let me know what you guys think. Are you interested in the sneakers trailer? Will you be showing your kids? Is there a shoe person in your life that you might want to show this movie to? Let me know what you guys think. Okay, on to our next topic. Ooh, inside Disney's Snow White troubles. So I've been seeing this everywhere on the news feeds as far as this Snow White and their issues. And it all stems from not only issues with Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, because Rachel Zegler supports, Palestine, and Gal Gadot is Israeli. And now Gal Gadot recently came out and said that she's a proud Jew and she's no longer going to be quiet about things. And Rachel Zegler has said things like, "May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace," which a lot of people took. I mean, the opposite of peace is violence, so she kind of hoped violence on people, sadly. And I'm sure she didn't mean it that way, but that's how a lot of people took it, and it's just been a shit show because sadly, this actress don't know how to just stop saying mean things about her own projects and about people that are going to see her projects. I think there was a video on one of her Instagram feeds that if you don't vote blue, then I don't need your business. But if she was a little older, I think she would understand that it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you sit on when it comes to your political beliefs, because an actress, a movie, a studio, industry needs people on all sides of the political spectrum to support their projects, and she should want to have this movie be successful, not only from Trump voters but from all voters around the world. And everything that she's been saying has really put a nasty stink on Snow White, and it's really sad. And so far, the studio has had quite a bit of trouble trying to market this film because people don't like Rachel Zegler. People who support Palestine don't like Gal Gadot. People that support Israelis don't like Rachel Zegler. And it's just crazy what's going on with this film. I can't remember a movie that had this much going on the back end before the movie was even released. As far as someone knocking themselves in their own project. Right now, the movie's tracking between 50 and 56 million. They're hoping that it reaches. I'm sure they're hoping that it reaches Cinderella levels, making like about 65 million. I'm sure they're hoping, but it's looking like it might be more Dumbo levels, reaching around 40-45 million. And this will. I think pre-orders just went on sale, and so far, a lot of the theaters aren't selling a lot of tickets. So I'm thinking this movie's gonna bomb badly, and that's really, really sad because I feel so bad for the director, Mark Webb, I believe his name is. He was the director of the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and I just feel really bad for him because he probably did the best he could do with this film, and you have just one actress causing problems, causing strife for your film, so much so that they canceled premieres in the UK. They've avoided having her interview. I think they're gonna do a Los Angeles premiere, and they're not gonna have interview questions. Only pictures are gonna be allowed, and you have to keep Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler separated. What just a crazy time to be a fan of Disney and to see what's going on with the Snow White movie. What? Oh man, it's just ridiculous and crazy. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Will you guys be watching Snow White? I might have to check it out, but only because I want to do this podcast and I want to bring you guys reviews and information. But if I was not doing this, I probably would not be seeing Snow White. And it has nothing to do with Rachel Zegler comments. Me personally, I'm just not interested. But seeing some of her comments and seeing some of the drama going on, it just puts a stank on the movie and it makes me want to avoid it, if that makes any sense to you guys. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Moving on to our next topic. Sadie Sink joins Tom Holland for Spider-Man 4. So if you don't know who Sadie Sink is, she is the redheaded girl from Stranger Things. She was also in The Whale with Brendan Fraser, which won him his Oscar. I want to say the year before last, if I'm not mistaken, or was it last year? I don't remember the year, but yeah, she worked with Brendan Fraser on that movie. And what I wanted to do here is I wanted to put out who she could be playing. Now, I've seen online that a lot of people are assuming she's going to play Jean Grey, and that doesn't make a lot of sense for me, and here's why. The Spider-Man movie and Spider-Man is owned by Sony. Now, while they are teaming up with the MCU to create the Spider-Man movies, he is technically owned by a different company, not Disney. So it would make for me, it would make no sense for them to introduce an X-Men character in the Spider-Man 4 movie when it's not an MCU movie, or when it's not a Disney-owned movie. It makes more sense for that to be, a Disney-owned movie and not a Sony movie. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you think she's going to play Jean Grey? Also, a lot of rumors, people thinking she's going to play Gwen Stacy. And again, I think after what happened with the last movie, I think it would be weird bringing in a new love interest for Peter. I think we need to just see him be a hero and not really focus on a love interest story unless they're reintroducing the woman that he loves. It just makes zero sense for him to find another love interest at this point in time, especially when we have the last time we saw him, he was madly in love and sad that the woman he loved will no longer remember who he is. And another one that people are saying is Mary Jane Watson, which would be very interesting because technically MJ was played by Zendaya, but that was never really Mary Jane Watson. That was oh my god, I forgot her name, but yeah, she had a different name, and so yeah, that'd be very interesting as well. Me personally, I think she's gonna be playing probably like a black cat, and or just maybe a regular side character. Who knows? It could be an unknown character, but it would make no sense. It would make no sense for them to have such a famous star not really play somebody. So I'm hoping that she's playing someone. I would like, and I'm just throwing this out there as a twist, but I would like for her to play like a Harriet Osborn or something like that, where they change the sex of Harry Osborn and make it Sadie Sink. I think, and that's my twist, that's my assumption, that I'm just putting it out there. That's what I would personally like if she would play a version of Harry Osborn that is a female, and we introduce that. And now that Peter had the experience from the last movie, he knows to watch out for her father, Norman Osborn. Just a little thing that I'd like to throw out there. But what do you guys think? Who do you think Sadie Sink's gonna play? Are you excited to see her in this movie? And before I move on, it's never a bad thing to add talent to your projects, and I think she's a talented actress. So I think Spider-Man 4 is a good fit for her, and I'm happy she's gonna be in the movie, and I look forward to seeing uh, what she's gonna bring to any character she portrays. Moving on to our last topic of the day for game news. The canceled Star Wars Underworld series was going to be expensive. So it looked like the original creator, one of the writers for this show, came out to talk about it. And they were saying that it probably would have bankrupted Lucasfilm back in the day because each episode was going to be bigger than the films, as he's quoted. So this was back in 2025 when they had this idea for this film. They believe it was going to be covering the information that the world in between Revenge of the Sith and Return and A New Hope, I think. So that's probably what it was going to be covering. But the crazy bit about this show, and why I know a lot of people were probably hoping that Disney would pick up the show and continue once they bought Lucasfilm. But the problem with the show is that each episode was going to be $40 million per episode. And just for context, one of the biggest shows in the world, Game of Thrones, its final season, when all the actors were at their most expensive, when everything was at its most expensive, was about $15 million per episode. So that just goes to show how expensive this movie was going to be. It would have been crazy expensive. I think the first season would have ended up, or I think they had 60 scripts, if I remember correctly. So it's like 60 episodes, which would have been $1 billion for a show, which is crazy. It's just ridiculous how expensive this would have been. But, and the reason I bring this up was this was back in 2005, where the technology was at its most expensive. With the new technology we have, with the void and things of that sort. If you don't know what the void is, it's basically like instead of having a green screen background, you're basically on a stage with LED lights, and it's kind of projecting the background in an Unreal Engine or render. But yeah, anyways, that's what they kind of used for The Mandalorian and things like that. So I'm very interested what the budget of this would be currently within the current technology, and I'm wondering if they could almost adjust the script so it could be a little cheaper. And even more so, I think I would like them to turn this into a trilogy of movies. If an episode is $40 million at about 45 minutes to 30 minutes a piece, depending on how long they planned on this being, let's just say it's 45 minutes a piece. I think they can get about 4 episodes and combine it into one movie, so they can probably do the first season within a trilogy. And I'm just curious what the story is going to be. It sounds like Star Wars Underworld. They said it was going to be action packed. Really showed the war in Star Wars, which would be awesome. And it was going to be marketed towards adults and not teenagers and not kids. So I'm hoping that Disney eventually, at some point in our lifetime, especially now that Kathleen Kennedy is going to be leaving at the end of 2025, hopefully the new person coming in taking over that position can take a look at this and maybe consider taking it. It had amazing writers and amazing things. So yeah, just let me know what you guys think. Have you heard of Star Wars Underworld? Would this be something you'd be interested in? Do you think 40 million per episode is ridiculous, especially when Game of Thrones was 15 million per episode? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And that's a wrap for today, everybody. Well, thank you for joining me here at the Truly Odd Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time, and until then, remember, stay true, be odd.